So for today, lunch, I would like to prepare for you Chinese pork and beans. Hi, my name is Alvin Wang. I'm a professor of psychology at the University of Central Florida, where I have been since 1986. My parents independently traveled from mainland China to the United States independently, so they did not know each other prior to meeting in New York. You can see that's my mom, and she's actually, in this photo, leaving China. She's in the port of Shanghai and starting a new chapter in her life, and she will never see these people again. This is my grandma and me when I was a baby. It looks like I'm practically a newborn. My grandma was really proud of me because I was the number one son of the number one son of the number one son. So I could do no wrong. I was her favorite, and maybe that accounts for the somewhat protective expression that she has on my face as she's holding on to me. So this is a painting that has been handed down by my family. I'm very fortunate now to be in possession of this painting. It's a watercolor, but what I want to point out is that in many Chinese paintings, you'll see script as well as what we call chop marks. These will be in a reddish color. It's cinnabar, actually. That is my name there, Wang Yafu. Wang is my last name. Yafu, translated, literally means man of Asia. My grandfather gave me that name. And that would be my grandfather's seal or his chop mark. So this will always stay in the family. It's very valuable to us. A number of my friends have asked me to recommend a Chinese restaurant in the Central Florida area. And I'm sorry to disappoint them, but I tell them no, I don't eat out when it comes to Chinese because basically I cook better than the Chinese restaurants you find here. And the other reason is that you're essentially eating Chinese American. The Chinese cooks and restaurateurs who have opened up Chinese restaurants basically have adjusted and adapted to American tastes. And so the food you typically get in the Chinese restaurant here is going to be an amalgamation of some Chinese ingredients with what Americans expect Chinese food to be. And that can be quite different. That is, actual authentic Chinese food can be quite different than what you find in a typical Chinese restaurant. And I know as soon as you hear pork and beans, you're thinking about that goopy red bean stuff with bacon that you buy at a grocery store, usually in a red and white can. But as you'll see in a moment, Chinese pork and beans is anywhere close to what you get in the American supermarket. That is not a dirty wok. These are all really good bits of the pork that have been prepared earlier. So the technique we're using is what is called double fried or double cooked. So this has already been fried. It's already cooked through and already started to brown a little bit. And that's where all of these little good bits of flavor come from, right? That's the remnants of the pork. These are fresh green beans that have been cut up into bite-sized pieces. So I'm basically adding that, adding the garlic and the fermented black beans. So we don't want to overcook these green beans. We want them to be al dente because once I add the meat, I have to reheat the meat. The beans would undergo some further cooking. So I don't want to wait until these are fully cooked before I add the pork. As a final touch, I'm going to be adding some soy sauce. I'm adding some ground black pepper. So once you're finished, you turn off the heat. Never cook with sesame seed oil. In other words, it'll burn off too quickly. Using sesame seed oil as a perfume, it fragrances the dish just before you serve it. I mean, the key that brings people together is the food. And once people settle down, they enjoy the meal, they feel comfortable, that's when you see a real exchange of information. That's when you see people really loosen up and talk about themselves and share their thoughts and feelings. And that is always easier to develop when people are sitting down around a meal. And oh, by the way, fortune cookies are not Chinese either. Actually, they were invented by a Japanese cookie maker in San Francisco.